Good morning, Cullman. Thank you for joining us on Cullman Today. I'm your host, Christine Wiggins, and today is Friday, March 27th. Coming up on Cullman Today, new details are emerging after Cold Springs coach Paige Adams resigned, and school officials say the case is now in the hands of authorities. Plus, a $1.3 million state grant will help Walter Water Authority make upgrades while keeping costs down for local customers. And forestry officials are warning that dry, windy conditions could make wildfires a serious threat across Alabama this weekend. All of this, plus sports, weather, and more. Now, let's take a closer look at the top stories happening in Cullman today. Yesterday, we reported that Cold Springs High School head girls basketball coach Paige Adams resigned on Wednesday during a special called meeting of the Cullman County Board of Education, and school officials now say the matter has been turned over to authorities. The resignation came just weeks after Adams led the Lady Eagles to the Class 2A Final Four in her first season as head coach. On Thursday, Cullman County School Superintendent Dr. Shane Barnett said the school system received what he described as its first formal complaint involving Adams and immediately began an internal investigation. Barnett said Adams chose to resign while that review was underway, and the matter was then referred to the appropriate authorities. School officials say standard procedures were followed after the resignation, including collecting school property and removing Adams' access to campus. Barnett said there was no confrontation when Adams left and said the school system's priority is protecting students and staff. No official reason for the resignation has been released. Cullman County Sheriff Matt Gentry said authorities are aware of the situation, the circumstances are under investigation, and more information will be provided when appropriate. A new $1.3 million state grant is headed to Walter Water Authority, bringing help for system upgrades while easing the financial burden on local customers. State Senator Garland Gudger said the funding came through the Alabama Department of Environmental Management and was secured with help from Cullman County's legislative delegation. Because the grant is fully funded, Walter Water Authority will not have to provide matching local dollars. Gudger said that means the project can support needed improvements and maintenance without putting as much pressure on water rates for customers in the Walter area. Local leaders say the project tied to the grant has already been completed, marking a significant investment in the community's water infrastructure. Gudger credited cooperation among state and local officials, including Governor Kay Ivey and Cullman County's delegation, for helping move the project forward. The current Cullman County legislative delegation includes Representatives Heath Albright, Cindy Myrex, and Tim Wadsworth, along with Gudger. Officials say the grant is another step towards strengthening infrastructure in rural Alabama. The Alabama Forestry Commission is urging residents to avoid outdoor burning as dangerous fire conditions are expected to build across the state this weekend. Forestry officials say dry air, a passing front, and stronger winds will create a great risk for fires to start quickly, spread fast, and become harder to control. Because of that threat, the Commission plans to issue a fire danger advisory today, followed by a higher level fire alert tomorrow. Conditions are expected to improve slightly by Sunday, but the state will still remain under a fire danger advisory. Burn restrictions are also tightening. Today, prescribed burn permits will be limited to certified prescribed burn managers only. On Saturday, no outdoor burning permits will be issued. Regular permitting could resume Sunday if conditions improve. The Commission says the warning comes after a busy week for wildfire crews. Over the past 7 days, 147 wildfires have burned about 5,600 acres statewide. Officials say escaped fires can threaten homes, forests, and lives, and they are asking Alabamians to use extreme caution. To report a wildfire, call 1-800-392-5679. And that's all for our top stories this morning. Coming up, Auburn is headed to the NIT semifinals for the first time after knocking off Nevada at home. Sports is next.
It all starts with who you are. You know, I always tell our players, who you are is more important than what you do. How high you jump, how fast you run, because who you are is your character. And your character is an accumulation of your thoughts, your habits, and your priorities on a day-to-day basis, because those three things determine the choices you make. And the choices you make you who you are. Good guy, bad guy, hardworking, lazy, responsible, irresponsible. And it takes a certain amount of discipline to do what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, the way it's supposed to get done.
Welcome back. Auburn is headed to the NIT semifinals for the first time after beating Nevada 75-69 Wednesday night at Neville Arena. The win also gives the Tigers 5 straight 20-win seasons. Auburn built a 12-point halftime lead and pushed that advantage to 15 early in the second half behind a strong inside performance from Philippe Jovic. The freshman finished with 18 points and 9 rebounds, making 9 of 12 shots from the floor. Tahad Pettiford added 16 points and handed out a game-high 6 assists, while Elijah Freeman scored 15 points and played all 40 minutes. Keyshawn Hall chipped in 14 points and 6 rebounds. Nevada made a couple of late runs and cut the lead to single digits more than once, but Auburn answered each time. Freeman delivered in the closing minutes, scoring 8 points over the final 4 minutes to help the Tigers put the game away. Auburn, now 20-16, will face Illinois State on Thursday, April 2nd at 8:30 p.m. Central in Indianapolis. And that wraps up sports for today. Coming up next, young livestock exhibitors step into an historic show ring for a memorable return to Garrett Coliseum. Plus, Cullman County PALS is calling on volunteers to help clean up roads across the county next month. Welcome back. Now it's time to speed things up with a news rundown. 4 stories in under 4 minutes. The North Alabama Agriplex is inviting the community to a hands-on class focused on growing and arranging backyard flowers. Bouquets, How to Grow a Cut Flower Garden, is set for April 28th from 6 to 8 p.m. The program will feature Stephanie Carroll of Thrive Flower Farm and the Agriplex's Sonia Boyd. Participants will learn how to harvest blooms, build a backyard bouquet, and pick up tips for keeping a cut flower garden healthy, productive, and more disease-resistant. Organizers say the class is designed for gardeners who want to grow flowers that look beautiful both in the yard and in a vase. Youth ages 12 to 15 may attend, but they must register and be accompanied by a paid registered adult. The cost is $25 per person. Cullman County PALS is looking for volunteers for its annual roadway cleanup set for April 11th through the 18th. The group says the effort is part of an ongoing mission to keep local roads clean and build community pride across Cullman County. Organizers will provide bags, gloves, and safety vests, and they'll also arrange pickup for filled trash bags after the cleanup is complete. A number of roads across the county have been flagged for attention, and those locations are shown on your screen. PALS says extra bags will also be available for pickup at its local site. Volunteers are asked to place filled bags well off the roadway and let coordinators know if everything collected will not fit in a personal vehicle. Anyone interested in helping or adopting a road can contact Sherry Haney at 256-531-4222. Cullman Parks Recreation and Sports Tourism is offering therapeutic swim days this summer at the Cullman Wellness and Aquatic Center and at Wildwater. Officials say the free swim days are designed to give therapeutic recreation participants a chance to enjoy local aquatic facilities in a fun, welcoming, and inclusive setting. The program is aimed at creating family time, social connection, and healthy activity all at once. Participants will be able to enjoy the pools, special features, and the new Paradise Lazy River. CPRST leaders say they hope every participant can attend at least one swim day this summer. To take part, participants must register at cullmanrecreation.org by May 20th so organizers can finalize the list of swimmers. Admission is free for participants, while parents and additional guests can buy discounted tickets at Wildwater after checking in at the front gate. Nostalgia and showmanship took center stage in Montgomery as young exhibitors competed in the 2026 Junior Livestock Exposition, March 16th through the 18th. Held alongside the Southeastern Livestock Exposition, the annual event brought beef, swine, and dairy competitors back into Garrett Coliseum for the first time in more than a decade. For many families, the return added an extra layer of meaning, with parents now watching their children show in the same arena where they once competed. Organizers say the event highlights more than livestock skills. It also teaches responsibility, hard work, and care for animals. Swine exhibitors also moved into a new ring at Teague Arena, giving families more room to watch and support participants. Cullman County exhibitors also brought home several honors. Ty Harrison showed the third overall market animal and placed third with his crossbred entry. Easton Elrod earned 5th overall bred and owned heifer and was named champion bred and owned all other breeds continental. Steele Keener claimed reserve champion junior heifer in the dairy show, and Riley Lance won champion percent Chianina bred and owned in Alabama. Leaders with the Alabama Farmers Federation and Alpha say the historic setting helped make this year's exposition a memorable experience for young people across the state. And that's your 4 stories in under 4 minutes. Now for a quick break before we look at the weather ahead and pay our respects with obituaries. I'll be right back after this quick message. Let's take a moment to pause and remember those who lost their lives this week. Betty Zane Thomason, 95, of Vinemont, passed away Wednesday, March 25th. Visitation will be Monday, March 30th from 10 to 11 a.m. at Friendship Baptist Church, with funeral service following. Burial will be at Cullman Memory Gardens. William Tommy Thomas Swan, 74, of Good Hope, passed away Monday, March 23rd. Visitation will be today from 6 to 8 p.m. at Moss Service Funeral Home. He will lie in state Saturday, March 28th from 1 to 2 p.m. at Valley View Baptist Church. A celebration of life will follow from 2 to 3 p.m. with a committal service from 3 to 4. Johnny Thrasher Ligabur, 82, of Hanceville, passed away Monday, March 23rd. A celebration of life visitation was yesterday at Moss Service Funeral Home. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their friends and families. Now let's take a look at your weather forecast. Today looks warm and breezy and a little unsettled late. Expect increasing clouds with a high near 81 and just a slight chance of showers after 4 p.m. Winds will shift out of the west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts up to 20. Then a strong cool down arrives tonight. Skies will gradually clear, but temperatures will fall to around 38 with north winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour and gusts as high as 30. Saturday will be sunny but much cooler with a high near 65 and another breezy north wind. Saturday night turns clear and chilly with a low around 42. Sunday brings a nicer finish to the weekend with sunny skies with a high near 71 and a low of 53. The National Weather Service has issued a fire watch Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And that wraps up today's edition of Cullman Today. Thank you for sharing your morning with us. And remember to stay connected by following us on social media and visiting CullmanTribune.com for the latest from our community. We'll be back bright and early Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Until then, I'm Christine Wiggins with Cullman Today. Have a wonderful weekend, Cullman.